Hello everybody from Sri Lanka. Today started with our usual morning walk, heading down the slightly muddy track because we had a little bit of rain yesterday. Found some donkey prints, not as good as Dave's tiger prints, but just as much fun. The scenery around here really is lovely, and even with the bleakness around, there is still absolute beauty around. The way these fences have been woven is just so striking, so simple, and yet so artistic. So we carried on our walk, ended up coming back towards the hotel, past the little houses, did some arty photographs. Peter went off and checked Abraham before we settled in front of the lagoon. Once more, beautiful views in front of the lagoon for our Sri Lankan breakfast. Dal and various vegetables with our noodles. So we started the clock on 5520, and anybody looking for a nice resort, this is the place to stay. And we drove away past the water. There seems to be water, so much standing water everywhere. And one big thing we noticed today is how straight the roads are. But more about that later. We popped through town. Peter actually overtook a tuk-tuk. And this was our planned route today. 3 to 4 hours. We figured it would take us 5, maybe 6, but we'd be fine. We went back down the point, past the big lagoon that we've been for, more straight roads. We went over the usual bridges, looking at all the lovely water everywhere. There really is so much water. It's incredibly flat down this area. We went through a town, and again, the roads are just constantly straight. They go for miles and miles, past the usual shops, still very Indian orientated. Saw some lovely arts painted around lots of places, and we stopped for fuel. We actually stopped for fuel 3 times a day, but I won't show you all those. Back into the countryside, we saw a learner tuk-tuk driver, which we promptly overtook. Went past some lovely temple gates, various houses and greenery, the usual coconuts on the side of the road, and then more straight roads. We eventually came to a whole load of rice fields, which ended up causing a long conversation on how rice actually becomes rice. And we were discussing the different flowers you can get on it, and it's basically a grass, and kept us busy for ages. Back to more water. Every time a local overtook us, it was sort of waving at Peter or me, depending on who was driving, which was nice. But again, such flat land. Oh, these trees we love. They're a type of palm, but we call them pom-pom trees. We eventually came up to the national park, which we had planned to go through. And I suppose when we came to the great big electric fence, we should have realised that this was not going to be as planned. We've ended up in the national park. The guard said we can come through. We're just not too sure the tuk-tuk will actually make it through. It's a very bumpy track. Yeah, he's doing well. Abraham rattled along. This is actually a very flat piece of road here, which is cool. Tuk-tuk, going to town. We have elephant poo. We're definitely in the national park. We might even see an elephant. There's more elephant poo up there. But for now, Peter has to get through this. Ah, cheated, he went on the edge. Some parts of the tracks were better than others. We passed a little shrine, which we did actually stop and ask for blessings. And according to the map, it was only going to be a couple of kilometres.
shit here.
Oh, lots of elephant shit. We managed about 4 kilometres up the track until we came to a great big hole in the ground, and there was no way a three-wheeler was going to get past that hole. So we removed some of the wildlife that had climbed into our vehicle. There's the red one there, and there's a kingfisher here. And Peter's got to get through this hole here, which he did very successfully. We went back past the shrine, said thank you very, very much, and came back out of the forestry reserve. We stopped at the side of the road, made ourselves some sandwiches, which was lovely because I think we definitely needed it by then, and continued our journey, past some lakes, rerouting as we went, found some gorgeous looking rocks formations, and then came to this lovely waterfall-y river where people were bathing underneath the trees. Lovely and refreshing. The sun was beginning to go down a little bit by this point. It was getting to about 3:30, 4 o'clock. You can see the people under the trees there, or maybe you can't, I can. So the weather was nice and cool by this point. We took lots of photographs and there's lovely still water under the side. And again, the rain had come, so the roads were wet. We only got rained on for a couple of moments, but the roads were nice and wet, the dust has gone again. Then by 4 o'clock, we came into Cow City, is what I can only say. All the cows were wandering down the middle of the road. Some were lying down in the road and settling down for the evening. This lot actually were being herded down. They're really cute. But they just don't get out the way. They expect you to go around them, which is pretty awesome, but also quite worrying when you're in a really small tuk-tuk. Once we got through the cows, we then had to get through the donkeys. Unfortunately, the sun went down at that point, so there's no more photos, so you just have to do with some of these photos. But we were dodging cows and goats, a horse at one point, and then more donkeys, until eventually we made it to where we were going to. And we looked at the clock and we had done so well, now on 5803. And anybody recognise this from the UK? This is a good old-fashioned UK meter. It's sitting in our guest house here. So that is the end of another day. Hope you enjoyed.